All right, the Pentagon finally has a response to the Langley incident when asked by the press. There was a conference, they had a response, and I'm curious to what that response means. So before we even get into it, if you're brand new to the channel, well, thanks for coming here and joining us. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and leave your comments and all that and more. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of it. All right, let's watch this clip. I'm going to watch this clip. We'll talk about it afterwards. Here's the clip.
There's been some new reporting around the 2023 drone incursion over Langley Air Force Base. Does the DoD have an idea of what objects it might have been?
Thanks so much for the question. So specifically, Langley Air Force Base did experience incursions of unauthorized unmanned aerial systems last year in December 2023. The number of those UAS incursions did fluctuate on any given day, but they didn't appear to exhibit any hostile intent. It's something that we, have kept our eye on, but don't have more to provide on that. Jen. Sure.
I wanted to follow up on.
Yeah, of course.
So why couldn't the Air Force shoot down these drones if they were coming towards the base, over the base, if they were surveilling, which it proved that when one went down on January 5th, it was found to have video surveilling a sensitive base. Why couldn't they shoot them down? The Air Force can shoot down Cessnas if they get close to sensitive facilities in Washington, New York.
So the commander, or any commander of any base, has the authority necessary to protect forces, to protect facilities, infrastructure, and capability there. So I'm not aware that they did not have any authority to shoot it down or to shoot anything down. I do know that with all of these incursions, given that it's, on U.S. soil, there is another level of coordination within the interagency that needs to take place. But the commander absolutely had his or her authorities to engage any systems that are a threat to the base.
And wouldn't surveillance or intelligence gathering be a threat to the base?
Yeah, again, Jen, this is something that, I know the department continues to analyze. I don't have any information, or I can't confirm what you're saying. All I can tell you is that, the Air Force Base did experience a number of incursions, and that, we have been looking into it. And if I have more to share, I certainly will.
Okay, so that's a total, this is what you say if somebody asks you about it answer, right? I mean, we're looking into it. What do you mean you're looking into it? Like, what do you mean? The great question about, hey, so normally if foreign governments have anything fly over, if it's anything that's foreign, you shoot it down. So why didn't you shoot that down? Well, we didn't know necessarily why. What do you mean? What are you talking about? There's no investigation there. Basically, she was given a paper and said, if anybody ever asked you about that, that's what you say. And well, we're looking into it. They weren't hostile, so we didn't shoot them down. Well, how do you know it wasn't hostile? If you knew it wasn't hostile, then you have a clue of what it is. Well, we're not exactly sure what it is but how do you know it's not hostile then if you don't know what it is? So there's so much in there. Like, wait a minute. None of that makes sense. What are you talking about? So you were able to determine enough that, so was it a balloon? You didn't say that this time. Was it swamp gas? You didn't say that either. Well, you said there was enough there that there was to determine that it was something. But you knew enough that it wasn't hostile. If it's any other government, well, then they have to shoot it down because they're spying. And it's espionage, and you can't have that. And it's Langley, so they got to get shut down. So what is that? And two questions were asked. Good on both those reporters for asking. Continue to go through it and keep asking about it and follow up on it. Well, what was it? It was like, well, we know that there was. What we can tell you is that there was something that happened. Admitting the incident indeed happened. Admitting that it was actually something. Not saying the Project Blue Book answer of, well, it was just a silver balloon, silver gas, nothing to see here. Bye-bye now. Next question, please. Ha, 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 laugh, laugh, laugh. They can't do that anymore. It doesn't work anymore because there's just too much with it. You see this, and as we were talking about more and more things lining up, and more things that are coming out towards the hearing, which is getting closer and closer and closer, There's more news with the James Fox documentary as he met with more of the streamers and even showed footage of them watching parts of it and tweeted out about how they reacted to it. And we'll probably do a story about that tomorrow on this channel. But there was that information of what he's doing, the program itself, the reverse engineering article about the program from Michael Schellenberger, this stuff with Langley really coming out. Everything seems to be coming to a head right before this hearing. And applauding both of the reporters for asking the question. This is something that a lot of reporters were not doing. So a lot of this subject is going around on the internet and going around on shows like this, and other people are talking about it here in this space. But to the people that, can get the word out there, they're not asking the questions, and good on these reporters for doing so. More reporters need to do this at each one of these hearings. Throw one question in there. Throw another question in there. The subject is becoming louder, and that's because of people like you. You're talking about it with your friends. You're talking about it with other people. What the other thing is, and what I've noticed, and I said this the other day, and I can't remember where it was. It might have been on UAP Tuesday with Peter. What I think we all feel, especially for people that are watching this and have been into it, it's like when you're talking to someone that you don't know what they feel about it, you feel like they'll probably laugh you off the block if you even bring it up or anything along those lines, or even if you don't really care, you don't bring it up because you're like, they don't pay attention to it. They're, they're in the matrix and they want to stay in the matrix. And then you have a conversation with someone who's like, oh, you know what? I'm very fascinated about that. And it's like, you go, whoa, okay, well, let's talk about it. I'll tell you some of the things that I know. And sometimes you don't even know. So don't be afraid to talk about it with people. Don't be afraid to discuss it. And if someone doesn't want to talk about it, well, then you don't talk about it. You bring it up to somebody else. Eventually, more and more people will. And that's why these reporters are doing what they're doing. Because the more people that are talking about it, the more they're... Let's not forget. They are chasing people, clicking on their articles and watching their things like everybody else. And when they're paying attention to, well, people are actually interested in this subject, this is why. Because they're probably going to get a lot of people who looked at this clip, looked at these questions. We're talking about them right now. So I feel like maybe it is coordinated, as Peter was talking about it too. We're getting closer and closer and closer to something. We're getting closer to these hearings. So what do you think about this clip? What do you think about the response by the Pentagon? Put your comments in there. Tell me what you think. Very curious. We'll be back here tomorrow. Probably going to cover that James Fox stuff, some other things too. But really want to hear your thoughts. So once again, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. Appreciate you being here. We'll see you soon.